My name is John Lobell, and I studied architecture at the University of Pennsylvania. This is a really cool building on the campus by Frank Furness, one of the prized buildings, and had some very interesting teachers, Louis Kahn, Bob Venturi, and Denise Scott Brown. Very influential on me was G. Holmes Perkins, and most influential on me was city planner Edmund Bacon. Quite a few faculty members at Pratt use his book to this day, Design of Cities. Bacon has a kind of Hegelian view of cities, that the form of cities reflect the worldview of its culture. And that's very much been influential on me in my approach. I worked for some interesting offices, including Harrison and Abramovitz, worked on the Albany Mall. Before my time, Harrison and Abramovitz did some interesting stuff like Rockefeller Center, the United Nations, Lincoln Center, but I worked on Albany Mall. Worked for an architect named Ulrich Franzen, and I did the research for a project he had a big Ford Foundation grant to look speculatively at the future of the city. Among other things we researched, MIT was working on a concept called Project Genie. And since computers were becoming available, this is about 1967, I'm working there. I started teaching at Pratt in 69. But computers were starting to become powerful enough that, well, maybe you could go up to a telephone pole and push a button, and the computer would figure out where's the nearest taxi, and it would zip over to pick you up. Does that ring a bell? Uber! Which, who knew you got to be ordering it on your cell phone? But anyway, we were working with stuff like that 40 years ago, and sort of working on the theories of all that. I did some sculpture. This is environmental sculpture I did at the Architectural League, where I totally transformed the interior space. These are hollow core doors that I make these forms with. And then I also ran the program at the Architectural League and sort of brought some very interesting artists to attention. I'm director of research for a project called Timeship. Our clients don't like the idea of dying. So what's this? So they've spent over $100 million to find the genetic cause of aging and turn it off. If they don't make it, they'll be frozen. And we're building the research facility and storage facility. It's a cryonic storage and research facility. We just got a cover story about our project on the most prestigious science magazine, New Scientist. We have competition now. So Google just put $1 billion into their anti-aging project. But we're still about 10 years ahead of them. And but there are these billionaires, like Sergey Brin and Larry Page and Ralph Ellison of Oracle, and they realize they're getting older. And they said, what is this? And then they go to their biotech friends and say, well, fix it. And they said, well, we need $1 billion. Well, here's a check. Kind of the scientific environment we live in today. I've taught just about everything at Pratt. In the past, design, urban design, but mostly teach history theory, Frank Lloyd Wright, Kahn and Venturi. But one other course I do is impact of technology, where we look at new technologies and its implication for architecture. Written a few books, a book on Louis Kahn, a book on Joseph Campbell, a mythologist, and a book on ecology, the Little Green Book. And most recently, I just published a book on creativity, visionary creativity, how new worlds are born, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And I blog at visionarycreativity.com. I have about 100 recordings of my lectures on YouTube. So if you search on John Lobell, you'll find my YouTube channel. When you get there, go to playlists. I'll show you that in a minute. And then the lectures will be sorted out. Hopefully by tomorrow morning this talk will be on there. I do a radio show on the internet radio station prn.fm and try to interview the most interesting people in the culture. It starts on September 12th. So right now I'm interviewing people and recording them, but we'll go live September 12th, Mondays at 10 a.m. And you can find out more about me, including my complete resume, PDFs of my books and articles on johnlobell.com. You can follow me on Twitter and friend me on Facebook. So that's me.